Even for that matter, I think having
Sure, on women's bill.
हाँ 9:20. Acha, I am getting two echoes, one in my laptop and one in my earpiece. PCR, please check. हाँ बस ठीक है परफेक्ट वही कर रहा हूँ.
Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, all through the September series, we've seen the Nifty really surging despite multiple negative global cues like the rising crude oil prices, the rising US dollar index surging past the 105 mark as well. The big question though is that will this momentum continue as all eyes now turn to find out how the US Fed will move on interest rates now. We'll find out all of that through this trading session, but first up the top headlines we're tracking for you this hour. Indian stocks are likely to continue partying on Wednesday as traders latch upon second-rung PSU banks, which are relatively inexpensive compared with the mainline private banks. Overseas cues are flat. The Nifty and the Bank Nifty are likely to consolidate in a sideways band as investors digest a three-week run-up on blue chips, even as the search for relative value in frontline counters. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail, as well. Great to have you back in India after that fantastic, shows that you did right from Dubai. Well, Monday we saw that it was the second instance on the Nifty when it slipped in trade. However, we've seen the markets continue to gain strength on the back of sectoral rotation that continues. The big question is that will the bulls get back on track after a day's rest today again? What do you foresee?
Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning to all our viewers. And once again, a very, very happy Ganesh Chaturthi to you all. May the Vignharta remove all the hurdles that we face in our personal, professional lives, and especially on the Lal Street. Sakshi, we've seen a fabulous rally so far for the month. The Nifty is up 4.4% and the Bank Nifty is up 4.8%. You have the closing that you see in front of you for Monday. But remember, both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty closed at their day's low as far as markets are concerned on Monday. Now, why has that happened? The US 10-year yield is at a 16-year high. That's a big of a problem. The US Federal Reserve starts its two-day meet on interest rates and the result will be known by Wednesday tonight. Most likely there will be no interest rate hike. Therefore, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are in a sideways zone, but the party continues very, very strongly on the Lal Street. You'll see the daily graph of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. The trend is bullish. There is consolidation as far as the two main indices are concerned, but for the moment we'll see the Nifty move sideways simply because one, it's way above its the shortest moving average that at least I track, which is the 8 EMA. Two, US bank yields are at a 16-year high. And three, HDFC Bank, which is the major heaviest weighted counter in the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, has come up with a very weakish commentary in its analyst con call. So I am very sure that the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are not moving anywhere as far as the next 2 or 3 days are concerned. We'll see the overhang of the Fed disappear by tomorrow. Tonight. Tomorrow is the weekly expiry day for the Nifty, as also the Bank Nifty futures expired today. So these are the 2 or 3 things that will keep the Nifty and the Bank Nifty sideways. Even if you look at the GIFT Nifty, it's pointing to a downtick, and that's the reason why both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are likely to remain in a sideways to flat zone. Blue chips will sort of meander in their average daily trading range, but the fact remains that the trend is bullish. We are waiting for these 2 or 3 days to pass away, and then we'll see some strong momentum coming back in. As far as the Nifty options chain is concerned, you see a very strong support at 20,100 and then on at 19,900. The resistance, of course, is at 20,200 points for the Nifty. Broader markets continue to rally very sharply, Sakshi. I'd request the PCR to show the chart of the Nifty Auto Index. It's at a record high, very sharp momentum coming in the Nifty Auto Index as well as the Nifty PSU Banking Index. Those 2 charts will come in front of you, and the seasonality analysis of the Nifty Auto Index says that since 2011 till 2023 we've seen Sakshi about 12-13 years pass by. Of that, 8 have been very positive for the Nifty Auto Index, simply because the vehicle buying season comes in at this point of time. So Auto Index is likely to continue very strongly, and the Nifty PSU Banking Index, it was a blowout day for the Nifty PSU Banking Index yesterday. Very sharp rise in price, record high there, and the fact that this high was accompanied by a very sharp rise in traded volumes. So second rank PSU banking stocks will remain in the focus. The likes of Central Bank of India, Indian Overseas Bank, J&K Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Bank of India. We've discussed all these earlier. So they will remain in the front foot as far as the PSU banking sector is concerned. Auto definitely, but extreme sideways move on front lines. I'd again like to reiterate that for mid caps and small caps, extreme caution is advised, and you have to keep your stop loss very close to your current market price if you are in the trading mentality. If you already have these stocks, then just continue holding them. If you don't have them, wait for them to correct a bit. As also, it will be choppy trade as far as the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are concerned. Sakshi.
All right. Well, on the Nifty Bank, Shail, we've seen multiple attempts to close above the record high of 46,369. This has only met with resistance on the upside. Now, like you pointed out, a blowout move on the PSU banks, but with only the PSU banks doing the heavy lifting, can the Nifty Bank really cross this hurdle?
No, Sakshi, you put it very well. We are seeing a very sharp resistance coming in at 46,200, 46,300, which was the all-time high for the Nifty Bank. 2 points I'd like to mention. It's a 4.8% rally on the Bank Nifty that we've already seen for the past 1 month. And on top of this, HDFC Bank, which is the highest weighted counter in Bank Nifty, has come up with a very tepid analyst con call. They've talked about rising fixed costs for fixed deposits, and I mean, the commentary hasn't been positive at a time when it should have been. So Bank Nifty will also remain sideways, but we can't be complaining after a 2200 point rise on the Bank Nifty. Such kind of things can be forgiven. Again, the same issues plaguing Bank Nifty. The US Treasury yield, the 10-year Treasury yield at a 16-year high. The US Federal Reserve meeting to discuss on interest rates, although the rate hike is not coming there. The fact is that only mid-cap PSU banks are rallying, and that is where the action is, Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail. So we will continue to track the PSU banks, the move over there as it continues constantly in the second rank PSU banks. But from the FNOQs, Shail, what should one watch out for? Are there any particular stocks that you have on your watch list today?
Sakshi, it's a crisis of plenty. It was very, very difficult for me to choose 2 or 3 stocks that I wanted to discuss with you. Again, these are based primarily on how charts are coming up, how the technical data is, and how options trade is settling at this point of time. So let's start with Mahindra and Mahindra. If you remember very clearly, we had discussed this counter at about 1602 when I had mentioned that a breakout is likely, and that breakout has happened actually on short covering, which means that the people who thought that a resistance will come in at these levels and the stock will remain subdued have been pushed on the back foot. They are removing their shorts, and that is the reason for this sharp surge that you saw yesterday. 2% higher, fresh record high 1638. The daily chart is in front of you, Sakshi, and it shows a fairly strong speculative volume coming back into Mahindra and Mahindra. There are no change in delivery statistics, but the fact remains that the chart is very bullish, accompanied by short covering and accompanied by a record rise on price as well as volume. So Mahindra and Mahindra is one for 2 reasons. The festivity demand is backing the whole tailwind as far as the auto sector is concerned. The seasonality demand seasonality analysis is in favor of auto stocks. And 3, most importantly, the auto index record high, and Mahindra and Mahindra has been one of the frontline contributors when it comes to this particular sector. So apart from Mahindra and Mahindra, I have been watching charts as well as options data on NTPC. Sakshi, we've discussed this stock very often, and
Sure.
from 180 onwards, this stock has moved up to 241 levels. Remember, this is a 12-13 year breakout that is firming up on the NTPC chart, and it shows fairly strong traction coming in. 241 is the price that I see in front of me, and that's how the stock is. Let me just give you some more data on NTPC. 1.9% rise in price yesterday, which was at 241.20 in futures, and again the rise in open interest is 3.4%. Remember, a lot of speculative interest has come in, so delivery statistics are not as positive as they should have been, but this is something that you need to watch on the charts. And lastly, the stock that I have on the FNO picture is Bank of Baroda. Sakshi, we've discussed this stocks many times, especially around 200, 202, 190, 95 levels. We've seen a breakout yesterday. The candle, if you see the size of the candle, it's fairly large, 217.35. The all-time high in terms of intraday price has been 228.29, and that was seen in January of 2015. This again has been one of the flag bearers of the rally in the PSU banking basket, and it shows fairly strong traction coming in. There is little or no doubt when it comes to the fact that Bank of Baroda will be at a record high fairly soon, if not this week, then maybe next week, but the trend is very strong. All dips need to be purchased. 217.35 is the price at which Bank of Baroda closed, and delivery statistics are very heartening. 100% rise on Monday versus Friday. So Bank of Baroda is what you need to look at. And again, like I said, all these 3 charts are based on technical studies as well as FNO data. Should you wish to take a position, then please also consult a financial advisor. Sakshi.
Absolutely. So M&M, NTPC, Bank of Baroda, we'll continue to track these stocks as we hit pre-open and then opening on the markets as well. But let's also shift focus to find out what exactly are the cues we're getting from the global markets. Remember, overnight, the stocks on the Wall Street closed with a negative bias right ahead of the Fed policy decision tonight. Now, all 3 indices have been flat over the last 2 trading sessions, be it the Dow, the Nasdaq, on S&P 500. You can see a 0.25% dip for all of them in the overnight trading session as well. Remember, US Fed Chair Jerome Powell and his colleagues are widely expected to hold the rates, and investors will focus on Fed's updates on the quarterly rate projections too, which is known as the dot plot, and that will be released at the conclusion of the policy meeting as well. High on the watch list will also be whether these forecasts continue to reveal a median view for one more quarter point hike this year or not. Apart from this, the Asian markets have also opened on a subdued note ahead of the US Federal Reserve decision, with traders keeping their fingers crossed as far as the interest rate movement is concerned. You can see only the Nikkei holding up with 0.4% gains in the early trading action. Rest of the indices, Kospi, Hang Seng, Shanghai, are down about 0.1% to 0.4% in trade right now. On the gift Nifty, we are looking at a slight negative start to the Indian markets in today's trading action. Now, when we talk about the flows, especially, the overseas investors turned net sellers of the Indian equity markets after 2 days. On Monday, FIIs sold shares worth about 1236 odd crore rupees. However, the domestic institutional investors purchased about 552 crores worth of stocks on September 18. Now, as far as the crude oil is concerned, the rally continues, and one will have to continue to watch out for as Brent crude continues to surge at 10-month highs at $95 a barrel as well. Shail, I wanted to speak to you. I mean, how important is the US Fed's decision going to be for the Indian stock markets in case the widely anticipated, hold on the rates comes through? Does that change anything for us? And, is there any surprise that one should brace for too?
Sakshi, if the rates hold, you'll see Nifty at 20,500 very soon.
Okay, let's
the momentum
welcome.
in the market
Yeah.
is so strong that the momentum in the market is so strong that the Nifty is held back not because it wants to consolidate or remain sideways. The Nifty is held back because we are trying to respect the US Fed for a while. The flow pump of money coming into India, whether it is by FIIs or domestic audience, is so strong that you can't hold it back. Bull markets rise on liquidity first, and it's only later that valuations come into the picture, and blue chips in any case are relatively attractively priced when it comes to mid caps or small caps. Therefore, the money flow will actually go towards blue chips. But why discuss this when we already have Mr. Gaurang Shah with us, Senior Vice President, Geojit Financial Securities, joins us on Market Today at BTTV. Good morning, Gaurang. What a pleasure to have you with us. Any views on what the US Federal Reserve will do?
Thank you, Shail, and morning to all of you also. I can't really peep into the grey cells of the US Fed chair, and my sense is that wisdom should prevail upon the think tanks, the so-called think tanks in the United States of America. And the situation has been difficult since the beginning of the year, Shail, let's face it. They have got 30 to 40-year high inflation, and there needs to be an out of the box or out of the hat thinking in terms of where they want to go. Simply printing green bucks is not the answer to the problem that US has, or in fact even Europe, UK, likewise some other countries where inflation has been elevated, growth rate has been subdued, etc., etc. But I think we are comfortable in terms of where we are as an Indian, uh, you know, investment opportunity in India. Data points in terms of inflation, interest rates, GDP growth rate, corporate numbers, government policies. I think we are having a tailwind positive. And the markets had a view about what is going to happen in the US and the rest of the world as far as economic condition is concerned, or interest rates and inflation is concerned. So, and my sense, Shail, is that markets don't react to the same news again and again and again. I believe that the US is a discounted factor, at least for me, in terms of interest rates. And even if you have to have a flight to safety in terms of FI selling, how much does it really matter to us? When they were not there, we are where we are. So if they come or they don't come, I think it is up to their thinking. And like I said, I leave it to their wisdom and fine sense of judgment in terms of what they have to do. But we are in a safe zone, and I think we should concentrate on our positivities rather than looking at overseas negativities.
All right, Gaurang, good morning to you. Help us understand which are the top stocks that you're watching out for. What is on your attention today?
Well, Sakshi, so we have two investment ideas from a long-term point of view. And again, before I give out these ideas, these are fundamental investment calls based on the track record of the company. So you need to have at least 12 to 18 months plus time horizon.
Sure.
And of course, by default, you need to consult your financial advisor, or you need to understand yourself what you are investing in. So, Endurance Technology, which is a auto ancillary name, listed a couple of years back, has been a steady performer, great business outlook in terms of domestic market as well as overseas market. And I think the way the entire auto industry policies are changing in terms of safety of a vehicle, our sense is that companies like Endurance Technologies, Bosch Limited, CIE Automotive, Minda, Uno Minda rather, will play a crucial role. So on Endurance Technologies, from a long-term point of view, we have a target of 1,870. The second one is from a very common household name, if I will, in terms of appliances, especially kitchen appliances. And that is TTK Prestige Limited. Not really spoken about, you don't hear this name very often. But with the kind of opportunity that there lies and the numbers that we saw for the first financial quarter, this financial year, we believe it's not a very liquid counter, let me say this, but from an investment point of view, it definitely qualifies to be one. 950 is the target on TTK Prestige.
Okay, let's discuss TTK Prestige in a bit of detail. 44 is the PE for this company that makes that wonderful pressure cooker that every home has over the last so many decades. And it's been a bit of a quiet performer. Not much has happened in the last 2 or 3 years. If you look at the 10-year CAGR being 10%, it's underperformed the BSE Mid Cap Index. But be that as it may, it's a very, very well-known blue chip from the mid cap space. Market capitalization of 10,900 crores, top line of 2,700 crores, and the trailing 12-month earnings have been in the vicinity of 245 to 250 crores. It's nearly a debt-free company, just a 40 crore rupee debt with a cash of about 840 crore rupees on the balance sheet. So TTK Prestige, and of course from the auto ancillary space, Gaurang has picked up Endurance Technologies. Remember, it has nothing to do with software. It's auto ancillary companies which designs a lot of aluminium forging for car companies and has a lot of exports going to Europe, Latin America, Asia and Africa. They also make components for engines, gearboxes and transmission parts. And we had discussed the auto index a while back. So auto Endurance Technologies is something which is also likely to do good. Gaurang, I was looking at the seasonality part of the Nifty Auto Index, and over the last 12 years, we've seen it closing very, very strongly in September in the positive part. Any auto stocks that you have on your radar?
Well, Shell, to be very honest, we virtually have almost all the automobile manufacturing companies under our coverage, whether it is two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheelers, that is PVs, commercial vehicle or tractor or agri equipment. But if I have to identify one particular stock, and you will definitely remember, Shell, for the last almost about 2.5 years plus, we've been positive on this stock. And this was an untouchable one in the auto sector. I'm talking about Tata Motors. And, there were times when at 250, 300, nobody wanted to touch it. And at 600 plus levels, it's become a darling of the market. They're going to have at least about 4 to 6 new launches by the time we say goodbye to this calendar year, 2023, December. That is by December 2023, we'll have at least 4 to 6 new launches. They already launched an Nexon variant, a new variant. Tremendous amount of features is available on that particular vehicle. You'll have Curve getting launched. You have Tata Sierra. You have upgraded models and new avatars in terms of Harrier and Safari. Possibly you will see one more version or a high version of Punch as well. They are going to increase commercial vehicle prices by 3% very soon. And the JLR business is doing quite well. Planning to make the company debt free very soon. And the outlook look quite robust. So if I have to pick one particular stock in the PV segment, then that will be Tata Motor. And in the two-wheelers, I would have gone for Bajaj Auto, but it has done its bit. So TVS Motors would be the one in the two-wheeler pack.
TVS Motors, okay, on the two-wheeler pack, and Tata Motors in the commercial vehicle space. Sakshi, just a bit more I'd like to add on Tata Motors. It's appreciated by 50% in 1 year, and if Gaurang says that Tata Sierra is going to be relaunched again, I'm going to take his word for it, and I will be amongst the first 10 buyers of this vehicle, I assure you. It was the best looking SUV of the 1980s and 1990s. I have one parked in Meerut, which is really old. We can't take it out on roads. But if a new one is launched, then Tata Sierra, it is Mr. Shah. I'll take the delivery in Mumbai, and the first ride belongs to you.
Definitely, Shell. I'll be looking forward for that. And
Sakshi.
maybe when I go for one, I'll take you out for a ride.
All right, and we should also wait for Million, because just like how you pointed out, Shell, somehow or the other, when the trio of you combine, it's all about the auto stocks, whether it's two-wheelers and now four-wheelers as well. So I think we have Million with us. So Million, please join in the party. They're talking about Tata Sierra. You also have a Tata stock that you have to share with us in today's trading session. But let's start by the auto space. What are you watching out for in the auto space right now? Any of the top picks?
No doubt, Tata Motor is also forming some kind of a base at current levels. Now, one can even initiate a long over here at 640, keep a deeper stop loss of 610. On the higher side, yes, this counter has got potential to move higher to 700, 750 levels. Now, if you see Tata Motors on the yearly chart, now nearly 8 years of this highs it has removed, and 8 years high was somewhere around 600 levels, and now currently it is trading well above it. So yes, a new move has started in this counter, and what Gaurang has said, yes, this is likely to head higher. Even it can test more levels of say 800 or to 1000 levels.
Shell? All right.
Yes, actually. So what we'll do is that the pre-open markets are with us, Sakshi. Let's just pay a little attention to them, and we'll again come back to Million. It's an odd tick on the Nifty. We'll ignore that completely. Let's focus on what the stocks are telling us. At the moment, I see Power Grid 1% higher at 202. There seems to be some issue with the price feed that is coming in. Let those price ticks start coming in. In the meantime, we'll again touch base with Million. Million, the two stocks that you're watching for today.
See, Shell, today I would recommend two stock. One is Tata Investment, which is currently trading at 2689. On day before yesterday's trading session, you saw a good volume pickup in this counter, and if you keep a stop loss of say 2590, then it could achieve the levels of 2789, 2860 in couple of days time. The second stock is Concord, that is Container Corp, currently trading at 735. One can keep a stop loss of 710, and the target price would be 800 to 830 levels.
Right.
Okay.
So these are the two stocks that Milleen has. Yes, Sakshi, please go ahead.
Yes, Milleen, I wanted to discuss a little bit with you as far as Concord Biotech is concerned. That's your topic right now. If somebody has to take a pick today for a long-term perspective, what are the kind of targets that you're looking at?
See, now currently, if you see the weekly charts or even a yearly chart also, then yes, now it has already trading well above the last year close. So clearly, it shows that it has got a momentum in this. And now, last 4 days, we are seeing that there is a good pickup in volume. So whenever there is a pickup in volume, there is a fair chance that this counter is likely to head higher and it could test higher levels, and you could get easily a 30-40% return in couple of months time.
Right. So, Milleen, your topic was Container Corporation or Concord Biotech. We got a little confused there.
And it is Container Corporation.
Okay. So, the targets that you have shared here are?
See, somewhere around uh, currently I have given a targets of 800 to 830 levels.
800 and 830 levels on Container Corp. All right. Gaurang, we've been discussing this space pretty widely, be it the shipbuilding stocks or be it the logistics in the space as well. Despite the kind of run-up that we've seen, is there any particular stock from this space that continues to attract you at this current level as well?
In the logistic pack, we have two coverages on the fundamental side, Sakshi. And first one is, of course, you and Milleen were discussing about Container Corporation, Concord. Uh, Divestment also is a big trigger. Land parcels that they have is also a tailwind positive. So that's one company. And my understanding, Sakshi, is that this entire dedicated freight corridor that the Indian Railways is executing will have and trying to connect east, west, north, south from the remotest part to the area of activity will have a huge positive in terms of railway freight income going up. And that's where you'll have Container Corporation playing a very significant role. And that's the reason. And second one is, of course, Blue Dart, one of the most credible names as far as couriers and express couriers are concerned. Presence not only in India but across the globe. Not a very liquid counter again, but on the fundamental side, these two look quite attractive in terms of investments from the logistic pack.
Let's focus on the other part of the market. And Milleen, this question comes to you. Second rank PSU banks. The rally has been phenomenal. PSU banking index is at a record high. Any favorites that the charts tell you may do better in the next 1 week, 1 month? Take your pick. Central Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of India, JK Bank. What do you like?
See, I'll go with Bank of Baroda. Now, if you see, Bank of Baroda is clearly showing signs of strength, and currently it has closed at 217. Even if it comes down to the levels of 200 in today's trading session, somewhere around 210, one should initiate a long in this, keep a stop loss of 196 on the higher side. Yes, this stock has got potential to test the all-time high of say somewhere around 228, or even extended gains further towards 250 and 260 levels.
Wonderful. So that's the chart that Sakshi and I discussed a bit earlier as well, and now a technical buy coming in from Milleen. Getting Gaurang into this conversation. Gaurang, what is happening in the PSU banking basket in the second rank? Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank of India, Indian Overseas Bank, 20% upticks happening on a daily basis. What is your sense here?
So, Shail, I am a little bit skeptical as far as the second or lower end PSU banks are concerned. The reason purely being, of course, right now the the euphoria in the market is trying to identify underperformers, and that's where large part of liquidity is gushing towards them. But I look at fundamentals, and on the fundamentals, the problem with certain uh, second run or lower end public sector bank is that out of four quarters in a financial year, you will have one or two quarters reported earnings phenomenal in terms of the market expectation would be. And then suddenly in the rest of the quarters, you will have such a big dent in the earnings that all your optimism will turn into pessimism. And you will get stuck with that kind of an investment. So we would rather stick with three or four names which is under our coverage, and that is State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, and PNB. Others, we would like to give it some time. We would want uh, extraordinary credibility in terms of earnings being reported consistently. The problem is consistency, Shell.
Yeah.
If that comes through, then we'll possibly review our stand and take a view on the fundamental side. But till such time, I think it is prudent to stick to these four banks as far as public sector banks are concerned.
Okay, Gaurang, on the private sector banking space as well, I wanted to take your view on HDFC Bank and then the others. You may be free to speak as well. On HDFC Bank, particularly why? Because Nomura has downgraded the stock. The target price has been slashed to 1800. They fear four negative surprises from the recent con call. A sharp uptick in NPAs in the corporate loan book. They've highlighted higher cost to income due to accounting changes, NIM cuts of 25 basis points, net worth adjustments as well. Your thoughts on HDFC Bank currently, and what would your suggestion to investors be who've been waited with patience for a long time for this stock to now move?
So if you had patience with either HDFC Limited when it was there, or HDFC Bank, or HDFC AMC, or HDFC Life, I don't think you would have got disappointed, Sakshi. And it is a track record. And I love it when some foreigners come out with these kind of reports. It gives us an opportunity to, because there is always a knee-jerk reaction in the market of such reports. So you get an opportunity to invest into these stocks at a decent valuation, because naturally, because of such reports, you will have pressure on the stock on that particular day or a following day. But let me just say this name HDFC Bank would have definitely found place in almost all chief investment officers mutual fund large cap list. I don't think you will see HDFC Bank missing out from any of those things. Secondly, with the post merger, there was a lot of expectation in the market. This will happen, that will happen, but synergies take time to play out. So you need to give it time. We maintain our positive stance, and I think 1950 to 1980, that is 1950 to 1980, that is our target on HDFC Bank, and we remain optimistic about our view. And I think if you do get an opportunity because of this report of some softness or otherwise in the market, then please look at opportunities like this to invest in HDFC Bank from a long-term point of view.
All right.
Sakshi, I think the pre-open trades have settled. Let me just highlight them for our viewers. 150 point cut on the Nifty, 99.80. Remember, this is in sync with what the GIFT Nifty was pointing out, and of course the HDFC Bank analyst con call meet that has not been taken well by the market. So we'll start with that. 1.9% down on HDFC Bank, 15.99, and that's pulled the other banking stocks lower as well. Axis Bank 1.2% lower, 1012. ICICI Bank 1% lower, 981. Kotak 0.5% lower, 1786. And the Bank Nifty settled 486 points lower in pre-open trades at 45,493. So that's the most immediate impact that we are seeing of the con call that happened. Apart from that, let's look at what the PSU banking basket is doing, because that is where the maximum gains are coming in. We'll see PSU banking basket is fairly quiet today. That's a big of relief. But the defense counters are doing pretty well. And we have Bharat Dynamics. It's won an order from IAF, 1.4% higher, 1070. BEL 0.5% higher, 140.70. That's how prices are ticking. Let's look at what else. Rail stocks, because these are the ones in high demand. Nothing much happening here. So it's going to be a flat opening, Sakshi. We'll deal with the bank Nifty weekly expiry, as also the Fed overhang and the fact that the US 10-year Treasury yield is at a 16-year high. With this background, let's get back to Mileen. Mileen, any picks in the defense space that catch your fancy? I believe this is going to be the sector for today.
See, regarding defense sector, if you see BHEL, then HAL, BDL, they are all in their corrective move. They have moved very sharply on the higher side. I would not immediately initiate any trade at current levels. I would wait for the index to settle down, because if you see Nifty also, Nifty has been rising up every day. But if you see the candlestick pattern on the Nifty, spot Nifty, they were always having a narrow range body formation, and there was a deviation of price from the short-term moving averages. And I feel that one should wait that near 19,800 or 19,700 levels. One should try to buy good defense stocks, but at present, I would not advise to buy any defense stocks.
All right. Gaurang, I wanted to also take your view on the FMCG space, which has been massively underperforming. You know, last week's data also showed that Nifty FMCG was the biggest loser. A lot of names, right, from Asian Paints, because of the crude impact, if at all, or the monsoon or the demand impact, have not been doing too much. Is it the time to buy these stocks? Do you see an upside in the upcoming festive season for these entire pack?
Not immediately, Sakshi, because the impact of lower monsoon, discretionary spend from semi-urban and rural India being under pressure because of the income as far as monsoon and agri output is concerned, switch over to second level or third level products from high-end products in the metros, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So that may, and of course, like you were mentioning, crude oil prices. This may have an overhang on the earnings as far as second quarter numbers are concerned. But notwithstanding that, I think if you look at the commentary from the most of the FMCG company management post first quarter numbers, and that was that the input cost has been relatively lower, margins have been stable, volume growth has been quite decent. And other than the promo stroke advertising expenses, the numbers on the uh, EBITDA front and net profit front looks quite good. So, notwithstanding what happens because of the deficit monsoon and volume growth issue from semi-urban and rural India, I think if you have a longish time horizon, in fact, like autos, I was discussing with Shell, on FMCG also we have a whole host of companies that are under our fundamental coverage, starting from HUL, ITC, Tata Consumer, Godrej Consumer, Dabur, Imami, Marico, Nestle, Britannia. I think I would have covered almost the entire universe, leaving out Patanjali, of course. So we remain positive, and Shakshi, India is a consumption-driven economy, and I don't think that's going to stop at any point of time. It may possibly come down a little bit or go to second or third level, but that's not going to stop.
Okay.
Right. We'll just pay attention to what the pre-open rates are. The Nifty down about 144 points, 19,987. And the biggest contributor to this fall is the 2.5% decline on HDFC Bank, 1587, down about 41 points. The Bank Nifty's opened 380 points lower, 45,612. IT is down by 200 points, the index at 32,923. It's a sea of red as far as the broader markets are concerned as well. But let's pay attention to other stock prices. What is Reliance doing? Reliance is 0.5% lower, 24.22. What is Infosys doing? 0.7% lower, 14.81. Top three heaviest weighted counters are down on the Nifty. You have a 151 point downtick, 99.81. Will this dip be purchased? It's only a matter of time. We'll see that happening. ICICI Bank is in the green. Remember, it's now helping the Bank Nifty against the downturn that's coming in HDFC Bank. ICICI Bank 0.5% higher, 995. What is Axis doing? Up in the green, 0.2%, 1024. Remember, this is how the balancing of the Bank Nifty is happening. A sharp dip on the heaviest weighted stock, which is HDFC Bank, and then it's the other banking stocks that are helping the index. Let's get into FNO, which is the top loser. Okay. The cut on HDFC Bank is getting deeper, 3% lower now at 1577. This does not augur well for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. M&M 0.6% lower, 1629. We have looking at the top gainers, Biocon 0.5% higher, 275. We have Power Finance Corporation 1% higher, 290. L&T 0.5% higher, 2935. Let's look at the gainers on the Nifty apart from the ones that are pulling it down. So the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty is somewhere like 10:40. Weakness across the space. Let's look at FNO now, and we see what are the top losers. Apollo Hospitals 2.3% lower, 49.59. IPCA 1.7% lower, 911. Let's shift focus immediately to NSE 500, where the biggest action is happening. I'll look at NBCC 3% higher, 60.5. BDL 2.3% higher, 1079. I believe it's the PSU banking basket that's going completely in the green. Union Bank 2.4% higher, 101.20. Bank of India 1.2% higher, 110. Central Bank of India 1.8% higher, 52.80. IOB and PSB 0.5% and 1.6% higher. That's the broader market that's opened up. Let's immediately touch base with Milleen. Milleen, what are you doing on the Nifty? I think 20,000 is where the battle is. Down 128 so far. The dip seems to be getting purchased.
See, actually, the trend is clearly up in Nifty. So now we have a gap down opening, and exactly at the what you said is right. 20,000 is a very strong support on the hourly chart also. And yes, in the first hour of the trading session, we are likely to get some pullback towards say 20,100, 20,000. Some pullback is expected at current level, and then one has to take a call. But at present, going short at current levels would not be advisable.
Absolutely. It seems that the first dip is getting purchased on the Bank Nifty. Just a moment, I'm putting my charts in place. So it's opened at the fourth support level, S4, and there seems to be some support building up at 99.80. So the dip of about 140, 150 points is most likely to be purchased when it comes to the Nifty. Remember, we are on the weekly expiry of Bank Nifty, and Nifty stands at T-1. This dip indeed is getting purchased, at least on the main indices. Where else do you see a lot of traction coming in? It's only cash counters that are booming. Your view on NBCC Milleen, 61 rupees, 3.5% higher. Very strong volumes coming in at this point of time. It is at 2.23 million shares traded so far. Your quick view on NBCC?
See, currently, if you see NBCC chart, it is trading in a range of, say, 53 on the lower side, and the higher side, it is moving at, and the higher side limit is 63, and currently it is trading at 60 rupees. For last 10 trading session, it is trading in that range. Clearly, it is outperforming the benchmark index, is having higher relative strength, and even the momentum indicator, namely MACD, has been positively poised. Now, this clearly shows that this stock has got potential to go on the higher side. If one keeps a stop loss of, say, one can buy at current level or on a decline up to 57, keep a strict stop loss of 55 on the higher side. Once 63 is being crossed, then yes, you could expect the levels of 66 and 72 levels in a couple of days' time.
Okay, the low on the Nifty is indeed being purchased. 19,970 was the low, at the moment at 20,040. So it's a pull-up that's happening after the dip that needs to be paid attention to. But for the moment, let's get Tata Investment in front of the screens for you. Remember, this was a pick that was suggested by Million in the pre-open trade, 27.22, a high of 27.52. So it's a breakout trade that's happening, and a very, very sharp pull up happening on all index stocks. Let me just give you a picture. I've opened the bank Nifty. I have opened the Nifty in front of you. The advanced decline has now improved to 1:1. Remember, it was 1:4 earlier. Which are the top gainers as far as Nifty is concerned? And that would be Bajaj Auto, ONGC 1.1% higher on Bajaj Auto 5250, and Tata Steel 0.8% higher 131. What's pulling it down? Of course, HDFC Bank, Apollo Hospitals, BPCL, nothing new there. Million, for you, what would be a good buying range for HDFC Bank?
See, currently we are seeing that HDFC Bank has started trading well below the 200-day moving average line with this gap down opening. But yes, it has got a good support at around, multiple support at around 1500 levels. So if you get a chance to enter near, say, another 20-30 rupees lower, then it is an extraordinary good level to buy. I don't expect that 1500 would be taken off. From there, you could see a good rebound towards, say, 1600 levels. So one can keep a stop loss of 1500 and play for the higher side. But if one has to enter here, another 20-30 points, you can look lower.
Okay. Two things I would like to highlight, looking at the bullish move that's happening on the charts. Let's try and get an intraday image of the Nifty, and you'll see how beautifully this dip is getting purchased. The low on the Nifty was 19,970, and at the moment it's 20,031. So the index has moved 60 points from the day's low towards the high point of the day. And the thread on Nifty Bank is even better. It's recovered from a low of 45,515 to 45,670. So that's somewhere like a 190 point move that we've seen from the day's low. So this is what I'm saying. The first intraday dip is getting purchased. Coming to our friend Gaurang, anything that catches your fancy, Gaurang? At the moment, the dip is being purchased on two major indices.
So again, I would repeat myself. The discussion that we had a while back with Sakshi. I think the way markets are getting bought into with that kind of dip. Similarly, I think you will see a reaction on HDFC Bank as well. Whatever 2% plus downtick that you are seeing on HDFC Bank, I think it's a great time to buy into the stock. And Shell, I think all this pessimism because of this so-called report that is there would get wiped out completely, I'm assuring you, post the second quarter numbers that we'll see of HDFC Bank. And I think it's not going to be long. Starting October first weekend or maybe second week, you will see earnings for the second quarter coming through for corporate India. So I remain extremely optimistic about this particular company, as this particular bank, HDFC Bank. And if I had to identify one particular stock from the defense pack that you were discussing with Mileen, he spoke about BHEL, if I'm not mistaken. I think BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited,
Yes.
as one candidate, when we've discussed this also a number of times, Shah, I think it's a great opportunity. And like the defense companies have, reacted with the kind of order Shell, I normally don't preempt things and say futuristic things, but my sense is that railway related stocks, whether it is government owned or private, and power generation, transmission, and power equipments, I think these are the sectors that you should keep on your radar along with defense.
Fair point. Mileen, what we'll do is that we'll take a view from you on Bharat Electronics Limited. This is Gaurang's top play when it comes to the defense space. 139.60, the counter consolidating near record highs. How would you look at it? This is the lowest beta amongst the highest beta sector that we have, which is the defense space.
Consolidating for nearly 10 trading sessions.
Mileen, yes.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
can
Mileen,
you hear?
please go ahead.
See, BEL is currently.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. BEL is currently trading sideways for last 10 trading session, and it has got good support at around 134, 130 levels. If one wants to enter at current levels, can enter at current levels. Keep a deeper stop loss of 130. I don't expect that 130 would be broken. And on the higher side, once it crosses the level of say 145, you could expect a good dynamic move towards say somewhere around 156 and 172 levels in couple of months time.
Okay, so that is what BEL charts are saying to Mileen. Let's again pay attention to the broader market. Remember how the dip is being purchased. The Nifty IT index opened about 200 points lower. It's now in the green, 33,147. Let's immediately go to the technology space and look at winners in the F&O market. Birla Soft, 1.1% higher, 494. TCS 0.4% higher, 3621. Infosys in the green, Wipro in the green. Infosys is at the day's high. So this is how the Nifty is being managed and massaged. If HDFC Bank is down, it's the other stocks that are being used to pull up the index. It is Infosys now up 0.3%. Very quickly, Mileen, your view on this counter.
Last time I was there on the show, I had said that Infosys and TCS are likely to head higher, and there is a good formation of base building over here. And clearly at this level also one can enter good support at around say 1450, 1430 levels. On the higher side, we expect that this counter is likely to test the levels of say 1500 to 1550 levels in couple of weeks time.
Fine. This is where Infosys is seen. Let me just talk about the broader markets. Now, lots and lots of stocks are trading in the green. Your counter, Gaurang, you had mentioned TVS Motors, fairly strong here, 1529. Remember, again a record high. The rally is now in its fourth day. What attracts TVS Motors to you, Gaurang? This is your top pick in the two-wheeler space.
So if I recollect vaguely, Shell, I think I discussed this particular stock on some other platform, and that was the level of around about 1100, 1150. I think it had just given a breakout of its 52-week high, and a lot of people told me that amongst the two-wheeler pack, this is one of the most expensive stock. So my simple saying is that, boss, if you want to go and buy a two-wheeler for yourself, you are definitely going to buy a very branded high-end motorcycle and you're going to pay premium for it. So if you want to buy or invest into a stock, you have to follow the same principles. You have to buy quality stocks and pay premium for that. You can't afford to buy lesser known names and get stuck with that. And that was at 1100, 1150, and today it is at about 1530. Remain extremely positive. I think whatever Ronin launch has been quite good. If I'm not mistaken, there is one more launch on the high-end premium side, Zeppelin, if I'm not mistaken, if I get the name right, in the two-wheeler motorcycle category, they're going to launch. Their other vehicles are doing extremely well. RTR, the 310 plus is going to come out with, I think they've launched, or they're going to very soon launch in a new avatar. Automated scooters are doing extremely well. Entry-level mid-size motorcycles are doing well. So our sense is that all the pieces are falling in the right place, and the puzzle is getting solved as far as expensive premiums are concerned. And remember one thing, Shell, I think two-wheeler sector is a
Right.
great reflection of how recovery happens in the semi-urban and rural India.
Absolutely, I agree with you. You look at the two-wheeler stock and you'll realize how rural incomes have moved because a two-wheel bike is the first thing that is purchased by the rural youth. And looking at how charts are breaking out on TVS Motors, that sort of buttresses the trend. The auto index is, of course, the top performer at a record high. No matter how hard we try to stay away from two-wheelers and four-wheelers, when Gaurang, Milin and I get together, somehow the conversation veers itself to it. Milin, your view on TVS Motors, and I mean the chart, not the bike.
See, clearly an outperformer and now clearly making a higher top, higher bottom formation on the daily as well as on the weekly chart. Good base at even one can enter at current levels. Keep a stop loss is somewhere around 1475. On the higher side, you could expect this counter to test the levels of 1600 to 1625 levels in couple of weeks' time.
Okay, 1605, and it's not as if that it's only TVS that's in the green. It's the other auto stocks that are buzzing equally well. We'll see the chart of Hero Motors in front of you. The counter up 0.4%, 3122 as far as stock prices are concerned. Sharp rise in open interest, 0.2% in the first 15 minutes. And of course, Bajaj Auto 1.2% higher. We had a wonderful discussion on Bajaj Auto somewhere last week, and the stock at a record high 52.53. Aisha is doing pretty well, 0.1% higher, 34.41, bouncing very, very sharply off its 200-day DMA. So all four auto stocks,
Honor, good morning.
TVS, Hero Motors, Bajaj, and of course Aisha doing fairly well as far as charts are concerned. Milin, your view on Mahindra and Mahindra, 0.6% higher, the stock now at a fresh record high. What would you do?
See, clearly, Mahindra is also making a rounding base pattern on the weekly charts, which clearly shows that there is a lot of accumulation in this stock. Even the sector is moving higher, and clearly, if you see the relative strength of this counter is higher. One can buy at current levels of 1656, good support at around say 1600 levels. On the higher side, you could expect this stock to test the levels of say somewhere around 1700, 1725 in couple of weeks time.
Okay, it's the entire auto pack that's clicking fairly sharply, and following that is a very, very strong trend in the auto ancillary space. I'd like to check out Endurance Technologies. Remember, this was a stock that Gaurang suggested for the real long term in your portfolio. At the moment at 1648, it's opened fairly sharply higher. The high for the day was 1671. Apart from that, Varroc Engineering is also doing pretty well. Remember, it's one of the largest auto ancillary makers for Bajaj Auto, 478.30. This is the highest level since April of 2022. So it's 4 plus 5, 9, 5 plus 12, 17. It's a 17-month high for Varroc Engineering. This was a very, very disappointing IPO somewhere in 2018, and it was priced fairly high. 1060 is what was the opening tick, and 1154 was the all-time high, now available at 478. A lot of recoveries happening in that particular space. Let's look at the metal space also, Mileen. I see some decent moves coming on NMDC. Any top pick that you have in the metal space that you would like to discuss? Maybe Hind Copper?
If you see we'll talk about NMDC. Yes, NMDC also clearly is showing sign of strength. Now, on the yearly chart, if you see nearly a multi-year high, it is crossing. It is going to cross, and currently it is trading at, say, somewhere around 150 levels, and one can initiate a long over here. On the lower side, good support at around, say, somewhere around 135, where there is strong base building happening over there. On the higher side, once it crosses the levels of 155 in today's trading session, then yes, you could expect a move towards, say, 162, 176 to an outer extent of 160 levels. 180 levels.
Okay, let's put the sugar space in front of us, and there is a sharp movement that's coming in Sri Renuka Sugars. Remember, a shortage of the sweetener across the globe, as well as rising prices because of supply constraints, have pushed sugar stocks right at the forefront. So Sri Renuka Sugars 5560, Balrampur Chini 441, Triveni Engineering also moving towards its all-time high. Some of the counters that are doing extremely well. Your view, Gorang, on Balrampur Chini or any stock that you prefer from the sugar pack?
Targets being achieved, we have dropped the coverage. So as of now, no coverage on the entire sugar pack, but let me just say a few words on the sector. The sector looks quite interesting. With the festive season, demand for sugar domestically, locally is going to go up. Shortfall of sugarcane because of lower rainfall in the state of UP, Maharashtra and Karnataka is going to have an impact in terms of overall production, which otherwise was quite robust. And remember one thing, sugarcane is a crop which requires a lot of water. Government has also taken necessary steps rather, for export of sugar being limited or put a duty on it, extra duty on it. Ethanol, which is a byproduct while you make sugar out of the sugarcane, is also commanding a higher price in terms of per liter. Blending has also gone up. So things are looking positive for this particular sector. I won't comment on specific names, but I think I would be at a liberty to say that concentrate on strong balance sheet, which have got relatively lower debt on the balance sheet, because this is also a gray area which can be an overhang while identifying companies to invest in.
Okay, so the coverage is not there at GeoGeet, but remember, it's the seasonal demand because of festivities that sugar demand in the market is going up, and also global prices are supporting this move. Let's get Mileen into this space. Mileen, what would be your top pick in the sugar sector? What are the charts telling you? I believe there are 33 listed sugar companies, but Triveni, Balrampur Chini, Sri Renuka now buzzing as far as charts are concerned. Any picks there?
See, coming to this sector, sugar sector now, 2 weeks back we had seen a strong buying happening in this sector, and now last week we have seen some consolidation, and again this week we are seeing pickup in the momentum. In this, I would rather go with Renuka, because Renuka is showing sign of strength. Clearly, it has started outperforming the benchmark indices. Clearly, it has got a good support at around, say, somewhere around 52 levels. On the higher side, it has got a resistance at, say, somewhere around 57. Once that level is being crossed, you could expect the levels of, say, 62 to 66 in couple of days' time.
Okay, let's pay a bit more attention to the Nifty Bank. Remember, it's the weekly expiry for this particular index, and it's really in a tearing hurry. If you see the intraday chart, it's been a very, very sensible buy on dip kind of a scenario, despite the weakness in HDFC Bank. Remember, so the day's low on the Bank Nifty was 45,510, and it's now at 45,730. So it's actually a 220 point rise from the day's low, and remember, it's just 942. So the first 26-27 minutes of trade have favored the bulls. One quick comment, Milene, from you on Nifty Bank. What would you be doing in the next week's expiry? Maybe a 45,700 call?
Yeah, definitely, because if you see the hourly as well as the 15-minute chart, there is a lot of support over there, and from where it has bounced back. And yes, you could buy a call for next week. I expect a bounce towards that level, and one should buy a call. And on the higher side, yes, it could move even higher, because see, HDFC Bank currently it has opened down with a gap, but having good support, so it would give a push on the higher side, I feel.
Right. With that, we'll thank Milene Vasudev for the show, the senior market analyst at Arihant Capital. His two top picks for today were Tata Investment and Container Corporation. Thank you so much, Milene, for your time. And we'll get together again next week, Wednesday, to discuss mainly auto stocks. Thank you so much for your time. The market, of course, ladies and gentlemen, in the best and the pink of health, the intraday dips on both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty have been purchased fairly strongly. Nifty now at 20,015, still down 170 points. Remember, the opening was at somewhere like 19,970. So that dip has been purchased. Nifty Bank 300 points lower, 45,680. Remember, the low was 45,510. Bank Nifty has the weekly expiry for today, but the dip has been fairly strongly purchased, and the two stocks that are responsible for this kind of a sharp uptick on the Bank Nifty from the day's low is, of course, Axis Bank, now 1% higher, 1,034. The day's low was 1,012. ICICI Bank, the counter, 0.1% higher, 994. The low was 981. So this dip is what is being purchased. Of course, the biggest culprit being HDFC Bank, a very, very tepid bearish analyst on call on the heaviest weighted stock on the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty, resulting in it opening 3% lower, 1582. The low was 1575. It's lying there, but both Gorang and Milene feel that this dip should be purchased as far as the counter is concerned. Okay, let's play a little bit of Bajaj Finance. This stock is at the day's high, the counter ticking merrily away at 7,600 in front of me, and there are small deals that are happening on this counter. Let's look at the open interest, about 1% higher for Bajaj Finance, at about 7609.90 in the futures chart. And let's see how the price change has happened over the last 2 or 3 trading sessions. Yes, a very strong pullback coming from 6750 levels. The stock has been on a very, very sharp uptick from August 21 onwards, and it's M&M, Bajaj Finance, and Axis Bank that are helping the Nifty recover from the sharp downtick that he saw when the markets opened. Let's look at the other corporate radar space. Will be shortly be joined by Mr. Jitendra Adhia. He's the president of finance at Atul Auto Limited. This is a three-wheeler company that's sparked a lot of buying interest over the markets in the past 3 weeks or so. The stock was at somewhere like 324 in middle of August, and by September it had peaked to 684. Part of the rally was mainly because a very well-known ultra HNI investor had taken a lot of shares in this particular company, and we'll be joined by the management of Atul Auto fairly shortly. Let's look at what other stocks are doing apart from those in the Nifty. It's JSW Energy that is doing fairly well on the charts at 406 in front of me. The all-time high was 440. The stock in a sideways trend over the last 3-4 trading sessions, and now moving back in terms of how the stock is doing. HDFC Bank, days low, 1574. Now this chart is creating a problem for both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Remember, this price is what you saw on 5th of September, and now you have the entire rally being retraced. The most immediate low was 1557, which was hit on 1st of September. So a bit of a reversal happening on that particular counter. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by Mr. Jitendra Adhia. He's the president for the finance vertical at Atul Auto Limited. Remember, this is a sectoral and a chat on how the business is doing. Mr. Adhia, welcome. Let me just highlight to our viewers the fantastic performance that three-wheeler company Atul Auto has come up with, thanks to rising domestic sales as well as exports in a lot of markets. Sales year on year were up 33.85% at 2,610 units. Net profit fell 37% YOY to 103 crores in the April to June quarter, and the revenue was also down 19% at 1182 crores. Welcome, Mr. Adhia. At a time when the entire auto space is really booming on charts, as well as the waiting lists that people are confronted with, especially in four-wheelers, how come sales of Atul Auto dipped? What was the reason?
During Q1, there were certain compliance things which we were supposed to sort it out in terms of OBD2 compliance, and that was delayed from a vendor end. We were all geared up, and if you look at my Q4 of last fiscal, you will find that we were just about to take off and reach into our pre-COVID level sales. Unfortunately, there were delay from vendors and that has that was the main reason why the volume was dipped during Q1. Though this has been sorted out in the month of July, in the last week of July, and look at my volume for month of July and August, we started getting back or resuming the normal volume, and we expect that with the festival season coming up, we will be able to very immediately we will be able to regain whatever we lost during Q1.
Okay, so it was compliance-related costs that hit Atul Auto's P&L account for the past quarter. Mr. Adhia, I'm sure the entire market has ignored that, and your stock has performed fantastically. 324 in the last week of August, and somewhere like 609 at the present moment. Share with us how do you see the coming 2 or 3 quarters for the company. This, of course, is the festival season. Your sales in August have ticked up fairly sharply, up 37% on the volume side. How do you see the coming 2 quarters for your shareholders?
Let me just appraise you at the moment. Atul Auto is a pure three-wheeler player having a complete product basket. We have product for all segment, all fuel choices are available. Apart from all types of three-wheelers are available. Having set our infrastructure at both the plant, that is at Rajkot and Ahmedabad, we have enough our required capacity to manufacture the vehicles and until FY 2021, we were more into rural and semi-urban. Now, to definitely grab the market for urban and as well as we can go cross-border as well. So, putting all these things put together, it's not only the this quarter or coming couple of quarters, but going forward, we expect that we will be able to ramp up and utilize our capacity in a much better way.
Okay. Mr. Adya, would you share with us what is the capacity expansion that you have in mind? What is the fresh capacity that's likely to come in the production line over the next 2 odd years?
As of now, we have sufficient capacity. We have recently expanded and commenced a commercial production a year back at the Ahmedabad plant. So we need not to add the capacity as of now. Definitely, there is all possibilities once we are able to utilize the current capacity, we will be able to put up another expansion. But till then, the first landmark which we are looking for is utilizing 120,000 unit capacity. Rajkot plant has got 60,000 and a new plant where we have set up another 60,000 unit capacity.
What is the capacity utilization, Mr. Adya, at this point of time for all your plants put together?
As of now, it is low. Still, it is hovering around 25%. But obviously, there was a COVID impact till then, and now, since the things are settling, we expect that this utilization will improve month over month.
You're saying that plants are operating at 25% capacity. Did I hear you right?
Absolutely, because of COVID and then both the plant. It's not a single plant. The total capacity of Atul is 120,000 units putting together both the plant, and current utilization is up to 25%. We expect that it will keep on from here onwards.
Okay. Mr. Adya, the country is going through a very, very large scale movement from mechanical three-wheelers, the rickshaws that we see are being turned into battery operated three-wheelers across tier 4, tier 3, tier 2 countries, tier 2 cities. I'm rather surprised that this kind of change was not reflected in Atul Auto's sales numbers. What, according to you, is holding back Atul Auto? A 25% utilization of capacity at a time when the country is completely getting mechanized in terms of its logistics space is not something that probably your shareholders would be looking forward to.
See, as I said in my initial remark, you look at Atul Auto's volume pre-COVID level, we were doing almost 50,000 unit per annum. That is 4,000 per month. And because of COVID, the overall there was, it has hampered the volume of the company. Subsequently, we started regaining it, and last year, as I said, Q4, we had that momentum and we wanted to keep kept that going on. Unfortunately, the OB2 compliances that was delayed from vendor end, and that has led us towards low utilization of the capacity. Until COVID hit India, we were having one single plant. We were preparing for another plant, and at the time when COVID hit India, at that point in time, we were ready with the production capacity. But obviously, the business processes were disrupted, and overall ecosystem was disrupted. We were ready with the product, and as long as EV is concerned, we were developing our EV of L5 category, and that was ready. We are about to launch. The product has been homologated, and we expect that, as I was telling, from here onwards, we expect better utilization month over month.
Right. Companies go through cycles, and yes, COVID has actually hit demand fairly badly in the affordable zone, because a lot of small businesses shut down, and perhaps Atul Auto has been one of the companies that have been on the receiving end of this low and tepid demand. But really, Mr. Adhya, no complaints when it comes to the stock price at 640 levels. We've seen the stock retrace a bit, but these are, of course, very, very close to the all-time high levels that we had seen in 2015. And all the good luck to you. I'm sure this demand will come back as India GDP increases dramatically, and of course the logistics space is about 1.5x normal GDP. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and I'm sure things will turn out for the better in terms of capacity utilization as also monthly sales. It was a pleasure to host you, sir. Let's get back to the markets as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, we are on T-1 and ahead of the major event in the US markets, which is the stance of the US Federal Reserve when it comes to interest rates. At the moment, the Nifty 117 points lower at 20,015. Remember, it's the action at this level, the 20,000 level, where the bulls and the bears are slugging it out on T-1. This month we've seen the Nifty appreciate 4% so far, and it's been a fantastic rally at the moment. So the index continues to consolidate. The Bank Nifty, weekly expiry today on Wednesday, 45,709, down 270 points, but that is not the story. The story is the dip that has been purchased. The low was 45,510. So at the moment, it's 200 points off the day's low, and the main culprit for this fall is HDFC Bank, a very tepid as well as a bearish outlook in the analyst con call which the management presented, and that's hit the stock. And because the stock is the heaviest weighted both on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, both these indices are bearing this additional low. Day's low 1574 as far as HDFC Bank is concerned in the spot, at 1580 in the futures market. What's ticking and ticking in the green? It's the auto stocks. Tata Motors 1% higher, 647.30. Bajaj Auto 0.7% higher, fresh record high 52.30. M&M 1% higher, fresh record high 16.55. TVS Motors slugging it out 15.27, fresh record high. This is as far as futures is concerned. I'll also point to you the gainers that are there in the Nifty 500. These are stocks that have hit all-time highs. Blue Star, a QIP coming in for 1,000 crores. The counter 10% higher, 882. Triveni Turbine, it's a mid-sized gear maker for turbines, 450, 4% higher. NTPC is the stock that we've discussed, 0.5% higher, fresh record high 242.30. TVS Motors, as also Axis Bank, 1,045 on this bank. It's helping the Nifty and the Nifty Bank offset the very sharp fall that you've seen in HDFC Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all that we have today, and as we bid goodbye to you for the initial part, it's the listing of RR Kabel. Remember, this is the cable company that has listed today, 14% higher, 1183. Fantastic listing. The action on your screens today. Remember, the stock is the first to get listed in the T+2 settlement. The issue closed on September 15 and September 20. You see it being listed despite the 2-day weekend. The issue size was for 1964 crores, and the pricing for this particular share was about 14% lower than what it is as of now. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it a day. The stock was priced between 983 and 1035. So 1035 was the selling price, at the moment at 1190, up 15%. Very, very nice opening quotes for RR Kabel. That will be all, ladies and gentlemen, on Markets Today at Business Today Television. Remain glued to us for the latest updates that is there in the markets and the broader economy. Thank you for joining us.
Can we have the investment bankers on stage, please, for the group photo op?
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. In our ongoing special Market Master series, we bring to you a gentleman today who truly needs no introduction. Market veteran Shankar Sharma, who is also the founder of G-Quant, now joins us to discuss what has been a fantastic run-up in the markets already